officer was bringing out, that the Bible is a book on what we know today, quote unquote, black history.
Right.
That's the history of our fathers. Get that in Deuteronomy 32:7. This book is about the Israelites, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans. Native Americans and Hispanics, they were darker back in past times. But through mixing of races, when you read in the book of Hosea, God said they love to mix with the other nations. So that's why their complexion became lighter and their hair became straighter. But they were dark-skinned people as well from the beginning, like the officer was just bringing out. Read what you got.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32, verse 7. Remember the days of old. Consider the years of many generations. Ask thy father, and he will show thee thy elders, and they will tell thee.
Read again.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32, verse 7. Remember the days of old.
So God told us to remember. Do not forget. Remember the days of old. He's speaking on these biblical times. Why? Because we would get separated from our heritage. We would discontinue from it. So God said, think back. Remember who you are. Remember yourselves. Remember the days of old. The things your forefathers did. How great I created you to be on this earth.
Right.
Don't forget that. Why? Because they would tell you a nigger. You were less than nothing. 3/5 of a human. These are the things they put in our mental. But God said, remember the days of old, that I made you as gods on the earth.
Right.
To be rulers over the earth. God said, do not forget that. And how do we get back into that status? Keeping the commandments of God. That's the only way we're going to be God-like again. So the so-called black, Hispanic, and Native American, man, we must come back to God's laws, statutes, and commandments.
Right. That's right. Deuteronomy 32, verse 7. Remember the days of old. Consider the years of many generations.
So God said, consider the years of many generations. How could you go from captivity to captivity? Are you a homeborn slave? Were you made to be slaves? Were you created to be a slave? No. We went from captivity to captivity because of our sin.
Right.
God said, consider why you always on the bottom, but you're the strongest on the earth. You're the mentally smartest on the earth. You're great in stature. You're fast. You do all these things better than anybody else. They always steal and extract from the things that you do, but you're always on the bottom. You can never get ahead. God said, consider why it's like that. Because we will not keep God's commandments. Hold that. Deuteronomy 28:15. Let's go deeper into this black history. Because it's not just a skin thing. It's not just a hair texture. It's a covenant that God made with us, his children, his people. Let's see why we're always on the bottom. Our neighborhoods are ran down. Read.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So God said if we would listen to his commandments, that curses, bad things in the earth, they would come upon us and overtake us as a people. So now we're running around going to catfish floors thinking it's a fine cuisine. So now we think growing dreads and getting high is cool. It's fashionable. But God never gave us that as a heritage. We don't read about King David and King Solomon in the Bible smoking weed and getting high and growing dreadlocks. That's not of us. That's beneath us. We are the greatest thing walking this earth, but we must come back to the realization. We must walk in it. So-called black, Hispanic, and Native American, man, we are gods on the earth. God created us to be on top and not on bottom. Brother, we gotta, come talk to me. We gotta walk in the commandments. We just can't have a book. Get that, Romans 2:13. Come talk to your brothers. Come deal with your brothers. Come learn who God said you are. You're not a Hispanic, you're not Mexican. You're a God on this earth. Romans 2:13.
The book of Romans, chapter 2, verse 13. For not the hearers of the law are just before God.
So God said just because you're hearing the word, just because you're riding around with the Bible on you, what does that mean? Read.
But the doers of the law shall be justified.
So he said just because you're hearing the word, just because you got a Bible in your house, that does not make you just with God. apply God's commandments. When we read about the Sabbath day, oh, I can't buy and sell on the Sabbath. I'm not going to buy and sell on the Sabbath. He said the people that follow in that walk, that's walking the walk like Christ walked, like our forefathers in the scriptures, he said those are the people that are justified. Those are the people that will be delivered from the noise of archers. Do you know what the noise of archers are? That's something crucial that these Christian pastors are not teaching. Get that in Judges chapter 5. Let's dive into some of these things that should be brought out, that should be in our mental, that we should know, that these churches that are set up in America are not teaching us. That's why Christ said he only came for the lost sheep. We lost. We grew up thinking we was all right with God. Long as I believe. You know what I'm saying? But that ain't what the Bible says.
Right.
That's a philosophy. That's the doctrine of men.
Right.
Read that.
The book of Judges, chapter 5, verse 11. They that are delivered from the noise of the archers in the places of drawing in water.
So it said they that are delivered from the archers. The archers, this was a vision of nuclear bombs. They didn't have nukes or bomb intelligence at that time, so he could only describe it in what he knew.
Right.
So he said drawing archers is like a bow and arrow. So he said those nuclear missiles would kick off like archers. He said the people that's going to be delivered from that is the people that's doing what?
There shall they rehearse the righteous acts of the Lord.
He said the people rehearsing the righteous acts, keeping the commandments of God.
That's right.
Those are the people that will be delivered from the nuclear war. World War III is going to kick off. And this is the home ground for it, America.
Bring it out,
So come talk to me, bro. You held the Bible up out the car when I was crying aloud to the people. What was you trying to say? I'm a praise. Do you know who you are according to the Bible, though? Your nationality.
I'm just finding out right now.
What do they call you in America? Hispanic. So you see, it says Mexican on one side, then on the other side it says Issachar. The tribe of Issachar, one of the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel.
That's right.
The people who God gave this land as a promise. Do you know this in the scripture? That God sent the 10 tribes, the northern kingdom of Israel, to America for this land to be a promise to them.
You know that's my bloodline right there, the Aztecs.
Right. Yes, sir.
Bring it out.
And the Aztecs, they knew they were the tribe of Issachar. Like when you go to New Mexico, when you go to New Mexico, it's the oldest ancient artifact in America with Hebrew writing on it. It's called the Los Lunas stone. It has the 10 Commandments in Hebrew on it.
That's
Your forefathers wrote that there. So when they left the Eastern Hemisphere and came to the Americas, what we know as the Americas today, they were writing in Hebrew, speaking Hebrew, learning. They were teaching and learning God's commandments in Hebrew. They knew they were the Israelites. They didn't call themselves Aztecs or Incas. Those were names put on them by the oppressors, the conquistadors.
right.
Those were names given by them. They went by Issachar, Simeon, Gad, Reuben. Those are our biblical names. But we're gonna read this out of the Second Ezra, the history of the Northern Kingdom coming to the Americas. Read.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 13, verse 40. Those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king, whom Shalmaneser, the king of Assyria, led away captive.
So when you go into the Bible, you read about the Israelites going in and out of captivity because of their sins. It says those were the 10 tribes who were carried away in the time of Hosea. King Hosea, when you read in 2 Kings, he was the king when the Assyrians came and captured the northern kingdom of Israel. He carried them over the waters of the what river? Euphrates River. So he carried them to Assyria over the Euphrates River. They were in captivity during the time of Assyria. Then this is common knowledge history. You can Google it. World powers went from Assyria to Babylon. From Babylon to the Persian Medes. From the Persian Medes to the Greeks. But before the Greeks came, when the Persian Medes came into power, they allowed the northern kingdom, they allowed all Israel to come back to Jerusalem to to worship God and rebuild the temple. But the northern kingdom said that they would come over here and serve God in the Americas. So it's about to tell you that how that history took place. Read.
Verse 41, but they took counsel among themselves that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt.
So that was America, because when you read about Ham, Shem, and Japheth, they populated Europe and Africa and China. They went into all these places. But this side of the world was never mankind dwelt. No one lived over here until your forefathers came over here. You know? But they try to tell you Christopher Columbus discovered America. But how can he discover America if y'all came over here thousands of years before the reason Columbus knew that y'all was over here is because of the Bible. It's a movie called The Conquest of 1492. And on that movie, it says it in there, but the Jews sailed to this side in Second Ezra. So Columbus knew before coming here, hey, it's a way to get to this side of the world and come and come and see what's on this side of the world, because the children of God, they're already over there.
That's right.
So when he came to this side of the world and bumped into our forefathers, he already knew who y'all were.
Right.
Read.
Verse 43, and they entered into Euphrates by the narrow passages of the river, for the Most High then showed signs for them, and held still the flood till they were passed over.
So they came through the Euphrates River up in where the sign is. They came down and around Africa. And God said he held still the waters, and he used the tribe of Issachar. That was the gift God gave you to direct, to read the signs in the earth, in the sky, to navigate through the moon and the stars in the sky, to see where to go and where not to go. So he said they came through the Euphrates and down and around Africa and up like this, and then they started to disperse the tribes, drop them off here, drop them off there, wherever their allotted land was. Read.
For through that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half.
So that's how we know it's talking about America, because it said it took a year and a half. There's nowhere on the eastern hemisphere you would get on a ship and it would take a year and a half to get to. That's how we know y'all crossed the Atlantic Ocean and came to the Americas.
That's right.
Read.
And the same region is called Arsarit,
or New Land, Arsarit. But when Amerigo Vespucci came here after Columbus, after Hernan Cortez, you good? He get that in Psalms 49:11. He said, I'm gonna name this land after me. I conquered it. I came and put my way of thinking, my philosophy down here. So now we're gonna call it America. And God prophesied that in the Bible about a certain nation of people, so we would know that who they were in earth. This is the definition for Arsarit.
Arsarit, the name of the land beyond the great river, far away from the habitation of man, in which the 10 tribes of Israel will dwell, observing the laws of Moses, until the time of the restoration, according to 2 Ezra chapter 13, verse 45. Columbus identified America with this land.
So this is common knowledge. What website is that?
JewishEncyclopedia.com.
So on Jewish Encyclopedia, they got the same history on the internet. Common knowledge. But they gonna hide it from our people. They don't want us to know this. They gonna show us twerking videos, smoking, getting high. They want to keep us dumb. But they share this knowledge to each other. Because they know once the true Israelites come back into the knowledge of who they are, they rulership in the earth is coming to an end. So read what you got. This is the description of the so-called white man in the Bible. This is what God says about them.
The book of Psalms, chapter 49, verse 11. Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever.
So God said in their mind, they think they're going to rule for always and forever. They'll never come out of rulership, read.
And their dwelling places to all generations.
And that they'll have generational wealth, that they'll pass it down to their kids and they'll pass it down to their kids. They'll always be rich. Yeah, trust fund, read.
They call their lands after their own names.
So when they conquer a nation on the earth, America, come look at that. Amerigo Vespucci, when they conquer something, when they conquer a land, they name it after themselves. That's why all the streets and cities and states are named after them. Because they thinking, hey, all my generations, they going to come and they going to see how great I was. They're going to come to, that's why Washington, D.C., the capital of America, is the District of Columbia.
Right.
For Christopher Columbus. His hidden messages and all these things, that's for them to know, but not for us. But they continue to rule over us. Why? Because we won't keep God's laws, statutes, and commandments.
That's
You
right.
read that in Deuteronomy 28.
You know?
It all goes back to the law. Even though we know this history and what happened to our forefathers, we just read that in Deuteronomy 32 and 7. He said, consider those things. But this is the source of why those things happen to us. Read what you got. Bring it out.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
Read again.
Verse 15. But it shall come to pass.
So God said it shall come to pass. Future prophecy. Because we just came out of the wilderness. We're in the wilderness. We just came out of Egypt. We were Moses. He said it shall come to pass. Read.
If thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
So it's a stipulation. Because he said if you don't listen to me, these things will happen to you. And we're going to see if they're good things or bad things. If we don't listen to God, it's just like you got kids. If they don't listen to you, what's going to happen? Something good? You're going to reward them for not listening? Or something bad?
I don't have no kids.
So I'm just saying, if you had kids, would you reward them for not listening to you?
Right, of course not.
Of course, okay, so we're the children of God. So let's see what he said. If his children don't listen to him, what's going to happen? Right.
To observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So curses, are they good or bad? Okay, so let's read some of these curses. Read.
Verse 16. Cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field.
So God said we'll be cursed in the city, the ghettos, the hood, the slums, the barrios. He said all those places that are ran down, poverty-stricken, selling drugs, shooting each other down. He said that's where y'all gonna live.
Right.
When you look up the word Jew, ghetto by definition, it says the place where the Jews reside.
That's right.
That's right.
That's the definition of the word ghetto. So they know who in the ghettos. In South America, in North America, in China, in Africa. They say, hey, that's the ran down places, that's where we're gonna put the Jews, the Israelites, God's people.
Right. That's right.
Because they wanna be in the midst of sin. We get to rule over them, we're gonna put them in the ran down places. We're gonna separate them from their heritage. We're gonna teach them our stuff. We're gonna teach them 420. We're gonna teach them Easter. That's not of God.
Right.
Read. Alright. Hey, you got the information, all praise to the Most High. You got the information, the website, there's much information on there. Learn who you are, show your people. Because we got to come back to God's law, statutes, and commandments.
Now they will see the true men of God. We are not black men, we are the Israelites. That's right.
It's so hard to serve God. And why when I say that I'm a Jew, it sound odd. For years I've been walking around saying that I'm a black man. I ain't saying that no more, it sound wrong, man.
This is Bishop Nathaniel of Israel United in Christ. Please subscribe to our YouTube channels. Stay up to date with our latest events, music, and classroom lessons. IUIC plans to continue visiting different countries where this gospel has not been preached before. IUIC needs your help in pushing this truth. So join us. Subscribe to our Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and podcasts, and stay up to date with us. For more information, please visit www.israelunite.org.